Hello and welcome back to another episode of Post-it. So today I want to talk a little about the editing process of Can You Hold This for a Sec? Or rather, I'll let past Recremac tell you a little bit about the editing process, although he didn't really go into as much detail as I would have liked, so I'll reiterate on some of his points. I think I'll just put on something so that you can clearly see that I'm not past Recremac. This'll do, Rakely. Over to you, past Recremac. And I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't my best camera work, and because of just the pressure of the lollies, I didn't really have the time to figure out what shots I would need for the best continuity, and I was not shooting for the edit, and I genuinely wasn't sure I was gonna be able to make it work. Once I got back, got all the footage transferred, but as I started putting it together, miraculously, it came together very well. Most of the opening shots looked fine cinematography-wise. Those shots of her walking around proved exceptionally useful for just breaking up the bits where I didn't have the right shots for continuity to get between those different sections of him struggling with the lollies. So dealing with the edit as a whole was about problem solving. The footage of her walking away was, as I say, crucial. I found it particularly difficult to figure out where to put the camera using that one subject. And I still don't think I've really figured it out. However, in retrospect, I think one solution might have been to get a lot more close-up cutaways of the things he's doing with his hands. Another solution would have been to have two camera shooters at all times focusing on close-up of the hands and a wide shot of everything. Did that make sense, or was that just rambling? Because I had planned to get it to be a cross-cut between the two characters, it meant that I did have the footage I needed to make it work. As I say though, I'm still not necessarily adept with shooting a single subject, and I think that again might be a topic for another video. Moving swiftly back to past Recremac. One other issue I faced though was the continuity of the lollies, which were completely gone in some shots. So in After Effects I basically just stuck on a lolly from a previous frame onto the lollies, and it looks okay. Yeah, so that I must say I was actually pretty pleased with how that fix turned out. The continuity of those shots would have been severely off without putting the lolly stuck on photo imposed onto his kind of dull emptied one. However, for me, I think that was a learning experience about the real power of simple compositing. It's quite easy to put things in a shot where there's no movement, and that way you can create whole landscapes as long as the person in the frame doesn't cross in front of something. I really do need to stop saying that's a topic for another video, but that's a topic for another video. I took this opportunity as well to try out proper full pass of sound design where I individually replaced almost every sound that was shown on screen. I think it really benefited from it, like the sound is pretty crisp. In fact, another thing, those black bars proved a saving grace because it meant I was able to compress the ratios a bit, and when in the composition his eyes were quite high in the frame, I was able to just bring those down, and relatively it looked a bit better. And I will say past Recremac is onto something there, and let me tell you, that one most certainly is a topic for another video.